Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every show off, with a moment of gratitude. I just want to take the time to thank everybody at home for tuning in and watching it. It truly does mean the world to me, because I know you could be doing a million other things with your time. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cotton, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, we got a barn burner today. I'm really excited about today's episode. I've known this gentleman for a long time, but he's passionate about the topic we're about to talk about, and we've actually never got into this topic, which blows my mind. So, as everybody knows, I don't introduce my guests. I let them do that themselves, because obviously they can do a better job at saying their name than I can. So on that note, sir, can you please introduce yourself and tell people who you are?
Elliot, thanks for having me. I'm Peter Daley. Who I am, born and raised in Fort McMurray like yourself. Father of two, husband, and that's about it.
Okay. Now, you are a huge fan of a certain sport, though.
Huge fan of this sport.
All right. What sport is that?
It's wrestling, Elliot.
It's wrestling.
I love wrestling.
There we go. Tanner, you hitting him with the belt?
I got the belt.
All right. You brought your WWF belt in.
That's right.
There's a difference.
There's a distinction. It used to be called the WWF,
yes,
but then the World Wildlife Foundation got upset.
That's right.
They had to change it. Get the F out, they called it.
I like it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that first and foremost. Explain the history of it going from F to E, because it was F for not 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
For decades, right. It went under the radar. So was this something that like the wildlife people were like complaining about for years, or like how did this all happen?
They had some agreement. I believe what it was. There'll be somebody out there who knows more about this than me, but what it was,
yeah,
yeah. What it was the WWF, the World Wildlife Foundation, said, you guys can use the name WWF, but only in the United States.
Okay.
And so then when the WWF started to expand globally,
right,
and they used the WWF name, now the World Wildlife Foundation got upset about that,
right,
and they had to sue them, I believe, and get them to change the name.
Okay. So what does the E stand for?
It's entertainment. So World Wrestling Entertainment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the same ring, I'm not going to lie.
No, I know. Well, they went through a big thing. They had called it professional wrestling for a number of years.
Yeah.
And then when they were trying to get away from, there was people getting hurt with wrestling moves and all that. They're trying to distance themselves from the actual professional wrestler, and put it as a sports entertainer. So that's what you see nowadays.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your introduction into wrestling. How did this start? Because we're going to get into how big of a fan you are.
Oh, huge.
So let's start at the beginning. How and when did you first get into wrestling?
I first got into it with my grandpa McDonald.
Okay.
He used to love wrestling, and he'd tape all the Saturday night's main events.
Yeah.
And so I used to watch those VHS tapes back in the day, and watched them over and over, and got to see Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and some of these huge, larger-than-life personalities. So that really kind of catapulted it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're a Hulkamaniac.
Hulkamaniac through and through.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've seen some of your videos. They're awesome.
Oh, jeez. Hey?
They're like, you're hilarious with Hulk
Well,
Hogan.
Yeah.
So that's your dude.
That's my guy. He's the number one. I got the old Hulk Hogan shirt on.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan Ichiban, number one. That's
there you
what
go.
that means.
There you go.
Yeah.
So why Hulk Hogan? Is that just the first guy you saw? So he was your dude from day one? Or
No,
like, how did this
I
progress?
was a Randy Savage guy all the way up until after WrestleMania 5. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you go from being a Macho Man, Randy Savage, snapping into Slim Jim?
Yeah, that's right.
All the way to Hulk Hogan. Like, they're enemies.
They are, but they had that crossover, right? Where they were the mega powers. So I think that's when I started to kind of catch on to Hulk Hogan then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I used to watch wrestling a lot when I was a kid. I think every kid does.
Yeah.
male and female. Like you're watching wrestling back in the day. You're doing the moves.
Oh, definitely.
So
On your
I
little
remember there used
brother.
to be a cartoon, like a WWF cartoon, and Hulk Hogan was the guy, the
That
main
was
character of the
Hulk
show.
Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, Elliot.
That's
That was
it.
the
That's the
one.
name of the cartoon.
Guaranteed.
So I used to be like, as a little boy, a big Hulk Hogan fan.
Yeah.
But then as the sport evolved and I started actually like watching it, not just the cartoon, I had to pick some different characters.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
So I got two characters. It was Razor Ramon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I loved
Scott
Razor
Hall.
Ramon. Oh
He's
my
the
god.
best.
Flicking the toothpick, calling
Hey,
everybody
yo.
Chico.
Yeah.
Then, and I can't believe this man's career has turned into what it is. The Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most
Definitely.
electrifying entertainer.
Yeah. Well, number 2.
Like, who's number one? Oh,
Hulk
Hulk Hogan. Okay. You're obviously going to say that. I thought you were going to say, because of that era, I thought you were going to drop Steve Austin on me, Stone Cold.
Ooh, see.
So, because
There's
it's up
some
for
big
debate.
names there.
Those,
No, it's not. But
yeah.
no, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's always up for debate, you know?
No, Hulk Hogan, that's just the winner. That's like me and Michael Jordan. Like, who's the best? Like,
Oh,
yeah. like,
MJ.
we're just talking Michael Jordan. Well, what about these other people?
No.
No, what are we even talking about? You got
That's
to
right.
stick with your guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started watching it with your grandpa. You're watching the Betamax or the VHS
Oh, yeah.
tapes.
That's right.
And then you transition into, I have to assume you're watching it on like pay-per-views and stuff.
Yeah, we used to end up, I think we started, I don't know what grade it was. It was way back in the day, but we
Yeah.
used to rent the box from Shaw Cable.
Right.
And it would cost, I think, $20 or something. And then you'd have that box for the whole weekend. You could watch your pay-per-view, get some pizza.
That's right.
Invite everybody over.
That's right.
Yeah, it was the best.
And so is this something that obviously your grandfather like got you started? Is this something your parents were okay with and like did they encourage?
Yeah, they were great with it. They knew I loved it. And,
Yeah.
you know, collected. I still have all the figures at my house.
Yeah.
Like that whole set, the LGN set.
Yeah.
Yeah, still got those.
With the ring and everything,
oh,
I'd imagine.
I've got the ring unopened, still in the box.
Whoa.
They're crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, because I know a lot of parents banned wrestling.
No, that's it. Yeah.
And for good reasons.
Yeah.
Like, because you there's no way you watch a wrestling
We never
match.
wrestled.
Yeah. There's no way you watch it and don't fight afterwards.
Well, that's it. You've got to practice the moves then.
That's
know?
right.
That's,
So-
yeah, terrible.
So when we're talking about wrestling, there was a transition that happened. You went from WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it, and then all of a sudden Mr. Turner
Mhm.
started a league.
That's right.
What were your thoughts about when that transition happened?
Well, I started watching WCW way back in the day before Hogan went and all
Yeah.
that. So I kind of followed all that up through, and yeah, I loved it. I just
Really?
loved it. The Monday Night Wars, loved WCW. I liked that they had some of those gimmick wrestlers
Right.
going to WCW. They had Savage, Hogan.
Yeah.
You know, they started the NWO.
Yeah.
It was just awesome.
It was
Good
a
wrestling.
very different transition.
Yeah.
From they definitely went a completely different way than WWF.
That's right.
And I think it was groundbreaking in regards to like it helped the genre evolve to what it is now,
Yeah.
where it really became a lot more storytelling.
Yep. Definitely.
Definitely. And they were going for a darker edge.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at first, I got to be honest, and this is why. I'll tell you why. Cuz I used to watch it before what was it's Turner Entertainment took it over, right?
Yeah, yeah. WCW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before they took it over, it existed before that.
Yeah.
And it was like super underground.
Yeah.
And it was like it was real, like it was real.
Oh yeah, it was
Like
great.
Yeah, and so when it became a little bit more commercialized, I was
You're
like,
like,
nah,
no.
it's not as real anymore. I appreciated the characters of my youth that they swung over, and I loved how like Hulk Hogan went like bad.
Yeah, that was neat.
That
You
was
know?
so neat when he went bad.
The only guy who revolutionized wrestling, I don't know how many times.
Yeah, he's
You know?
he's still doing it.
No, he's retired now. He's hosting WrestleMania coming up though.
Oh, okay.
So he's doing a lot of those kind of things for him.
So
Yeah.
he's still involved then.
Still involved, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still jacked. I saw a picture of him
Oh
on
my
YouTube. Like he
God.
still looks the same.
It's amazing.
That's what steroids do to
Crazy.
you. I'm
Well, I
assuming.
guess
Yeah.
a couple years there
Yeah,
anyways.
I can't verify.
No,
but
me either.
you have to assume because he's got to be in his late 60s, 70s. At
Yeah,
this point.
you know, I don't even know how old he is right now.
Yeah, he's got to be getting up there.
crazy.
Because you guys, like, I'm bad at math. I'm not even going to try to do it.
No,
Tanner
me
will
either.
YouTube. Tanner will.
Hulk Hogan is 67 years old.
67.
See, he was on that already, wasn't he?
Yeah, as soon as we were talking. 67. Yeah, looks great for 67.
Yeah, he does. Really.
So, your kids. You have two young gentlemen.
2 young kids, yeah.
Are they into wrestling?
They liked it, like, when they couldn't move yet, you know, then I had them. You know,
Right.
I used to watch wrestling with them all the time. They liked it. I think their favorite was Savage, too.
Right.
But as it kind of evolves and they get older, they start having their own interests. They're not into wrestling anymore. with me.
Really?
No.
So you're doing it on your own now?
Doing it on my own still.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old are your boys?
7 and 11.
Oh, so you can get the 7-year-old back.
Oh, yeah, I could do it, I'm
You
sure.
can get him back.
Some brainwashing there.
I just reopened my Super Nintendo for me and my little guy to play, me and Keegan. He's only 6, right? So we opened the Super Nintendo and we put in old school Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Oh, man. This thing has, like, Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, Yokozuna, Razor Ramon, The Undertaker, like...
All the good ones.
Oh, this is a good genre, and he is, like, enamored by this thing.
Just loves it.
Loves it. And the theme music when the guys come in... And you can throw them over the edge, and he's just like, Dad, this is the coolest thing ever. So I'm
That's
like, yeah.
right.
So one day I'm on my phone, and I'm looking at The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And he pokes his head over my shoulder, and he's like, this guy's not in a video game, Dad. I'm like, no, this guy came years afterwards. And so he's like, can I watch this? And I'm like, okay. So he watches The Rock, and he sees the eyebrow.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
He sees the people elbowed. You smell what The Rock is cooking.
They eat it up. They love it.
To say he ate it up is an understatement.
Yeah.
Like, there isn't a day that goes by that he doesn't drop the people's elbow on.
Oh, that's it, on something.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting it.
That's right. I'm just sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden, there's
Boom.
just elbows.
That's right.
People's elbow, and he's just like, you smell what Keegan's cooking?
Boom. Just huge elbow from the top.
Yeah. So
That's great.
Boys will be boys.
That's it.
So now, you said there's a new, like, something's coming up soon?
Well, I know WrestleMania is coming up. It's going to
Okay.
be 2-night WrestleMania, two parts.
So how do they do that? This is what I want to know. Like, how? Because I haven't seen a WrestleMania
In a
or
while.
anything in over a decade.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah.
Well, it's been different since COVID and all that stuff, of course. So they just have like monitors all over the arena, and then people join in that way.
Okay.
But yeah, April 10th and 11th they're going to have it.
Okay.
So I mean, it should be good. But I've been watching different wrestling these days too.
What do you mean different?
AEW.
What's the AEW?
AEW, All Elite Wrestling.
Okay.
It's run by. Do you remember? What was it? Cody Rhodes from
Yes.
WWE.
Yes.
So he owns it and runs it, and they're getting all kinds of big names in there now. They've got Sting, Taz is there.
Okay.
They've got some guys, Christian Cage.
Okay.
He's Christian.
Yeah.
And a bunch of wrestlers they've got there now. So Chris Jericho.
Oh.
Yeah, he's in there, and it's really neat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
you'll have to check it out.
I will have to check that out. Yeah, like it's fun. The one thing that I can't bash it because I've never watched it, but the ads that I see now are all for the divas.
Yeah, that's right.
So the ladies really like have their own. I don't know if it's like a spin-off or whatnot, but when I see commercials, like I can't tell you the last time I saw a wrestling commercial.
Yeah,
But I'm constantly seeing the diva
divas,
commercials.
that's right.
So what's that? Is it like behind the scenes of wrestling or?
Well, they started out, with women's wrestling kind of being what it was back in the day. They were good athletes.
Yeah.
But,
Well, Stephanie McMahon.
well, even before that,
China.
Rock and Robin.
That's right. Yeah.
Sherry Martel, Sensational Sherry, and
Yep.
stuff like that. So, but there was what they called the women's revolution in wrestling.
Okay.
And it started off by Trish Stratus and that kind of school of women, and it kept going to the point now where they've had a WrestleMania headlined by a women's match.
Really?
And it's good wrestling.
Yeah.
It's really good wrestling. I enjoy watching it probably for the first time in history just as much as the men's wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty
really
amazing.
throwing down.
Yeah.
I appreciated the storyline of like the ladies being in there. And,
Yep.
Like the whole Vince McMahon saga of his, like, how he incorporated his family into the show.
That's right.
Crazy.
It must have been hard or fun. I don't know how that would be.
I don't know. Like, well, I put myself out there a lot,
Yeah,
so
there you
I have
go,
fun.
that's right.
So maybe they had fun doing it. He made a lot of money.
Oh yeah, did pretty good.
Yeah, he's not in it anymore. He sold out, right? Like when I say sold out, he sold, not out, but sold the company.
I don't know that he did. I think he's still in there,
Okay.
but he's not on TV anymore.
No.
And I think they're kind of handing the reins over to Stephanie and Triple H.
She's still involved?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's epic.
Yeah,
and they got married.
Yep, they got married
For real, not just in the show.
For real, that's right. Yeah, Paul Levesque.
And are they still together?
Still together, and they're running the WWE, and
That's
Shane's
epic.
in there somewhere. Yeah,
That is sweet.
pretty neat.
Like that was the thing about wrestling that I enjoyed in regards to it is soap opera-esque.
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
But it blurred the lines in regards to, like, is this real or not real? Like, you weren't really aware with some of the storylines.
That's right. Especially during those Monday Night Wars, you didn't know what they were going to say.
That's right.
You know,
and they could do anything.
That's right.
Like, I remember not being of drinking age and watching Stone Cold Steve Austin come in with his beers, just crushing it. One day he just unloaded the whole tanker on I think it was The Rock, and you're just like,
The Rock and the McMahons.
what is going on here?
It was insane. You never knew what you were going to tune into.
We had a guest on the show, though, that said, like, there was some kind of contract that Vince signed to, like, PG it up a while back, though.
Yeah, they had different eras of wrestling, and they called that one the PG era.
Okay.
They had gone from the golden era of wrestling with Hogan and Andre and the Warrior and all them.
Yeah.
And they moved into, you had talked about it before, it was the Attitude Era.
Right.
Right? And that was, they had all they didn't have superhero characters like Hulk Hogan. They had anti-heroes like Steve Austin.
Right.
Right? And he kind of came and took over, but then after that they wanted to get back to a PG.
Okay.
So they stopped some of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite era. I'm not gonna lie.
Which one?
The Attitude Era.
The Attitude Era. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, you look at who came out of that era, like The Rock, Stone Cold.
Yeah. Unreal.
Mankind. All these
Mankind.
Guys.
Oh,
he
Lord. He was
crazy.
crazy.
Cactus Jack.
Oh my Lord. Okay, I know we're going over.
We're spiraling.
We're spiraling. And I love it. This is what the show's about. But I don't want to leave Tanner out of the mix. So Tanner has a segment called the Mac City Minute.
That's right.
Tanner, hit him with your questions.
Question number 1. Who do you think is the most underrated wrestler of all time?
Oh, most underrated wrestler of all time. That's a hard one. That's a hard question.
Tough one. There's a lot.
That is a tough one.
Well, while you're thinking, I'll throw a name in there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to say Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, like, unfortunately, the Hart family totally overshone Shawn Michaels. But Shawn Michaels was, like, a great wrestler that just... There were so many personalities back there that he was great. Everybody knew who he was and stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like, but he never became, like,
never got
the guy.
There. Yeah, that's right.
So that's my own. Shawn Michaels.
There's a few of those guys that never got to be like the guy, but were pretty big, you know? I like Kerry Von Erich. Do you remember the Texas Tornado?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he was very underrated.
Yeah.
He was huge down south.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So I'd say maybe a Kerry Von Erich.
There we go.
Question number 2. What do you take from wrestling that you use in your everyday life?
Promos. You got to cut promos all the time, hey?
There you go.
Question number 3. What is one thing that you think the modern era of wrestling does better than the past?
That's a hard one. I guess probably the easiest one there is they're really good at and involving the younger guys and like passing the torch, which is something that the Hogans and those guys have been criticized about.
Right.
So I'd say working with the younger talent. Like I said, AEW, if you check this out, you should see some of the young up-and-comers. That's where they're all kind of learning their craft right now, so it's neat.
Cool.
Question number 4. What has been your favorite gimmick or storyline from wrestling?
Oh my God. Remember like the Katie Vick storyline? That was horrible.
Yeah.
I think probably the Mega Powers Explode. That was my best rivalry. I like that one. Like, yeah.
And your final question, what has been your favorite entrance song of any wrestler?
I think my favorite is Hollywood Hulk Hogan when they took the Jimi Hendrix tune there, right? That was the best. I loved that. You'd hear that hit and then the New World Order would come in there. It was awesome.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
And those have been your 5 questions.
So let's swing it for a second. We're talking about wrestling, but Vince McMahon did something outside of wrestling that was pretty groundbreaking at the time. I'm talking about football.
Yeah, that's right.
XFL.
The XFL, that's right.
You know, that was a legit competitor.
And I think twice they've tried to do that. I think
I
just
liked it.
recently they tried.
They're starting it up again.
Yeah.
But like COVID has pushed that back.
The one thing that league brought in, talk about like a technology swing, they were the first league that had a camera on a wire moving back and forth.
That's right.
So that view that is iconic now, and we're all very accustomed to seeing it, that was introduced during that football league.
Crazy.
Most techniques used in the NFL immediately after and almost to this day were because of the XFL.
100%. Like that
Right
was the
on.
first league. Like I remember when it was going down, I was watching it a lot.
Yeah.
Like
The one season.
yeah, the one season.
Over and
CFL. Yeah, like no offense to CFL. I've never like really got into it.
Yeah.
NFL just is better, but
Yeah.
like that league, I was like, this league has legs, and I think it actually kind of scared the NFL.
Might have, right? That's
think
like
so.
huge money.
Yeah, like,
Huge money.
That's cool that they're trying to bring it back, though.
Yeah.
Tanner, good research on that one.
I'm full of useless information.
Yeah, you are. So let's talk about some old school wrestlers. There's one guy that I got to talk about, and what I want to talk about is transitioning with the old school. So you have The Rock, who became literally the most highest paid actor. Everybody knows The Rock now.
That's right. Household name.
Yeah, but there was one guy, I think, that broke the mold, and it was Andre the Giant.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever seen the movie Princess Bride?
Yes. Absolutely. It's 10 out of 10. What a good movie.
Yeah, he makes that movie.
Definitely. And did you know that today is 34 years, 34 years since the slam heard around the world, WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant.
Really?
That's right.
That's crazy. That time flies.
Yeah.
That WrestleMania, that match between those two men, I think is the most iconic wrestling match ever. When you think of wrestling, doesn't matter how old you are, because like we both were super young.
Yeah, pretty young.
But still, we know about that because they just replayed it over and over again, and that is like that's what you think about wrestling.
It was huge. I love it.
Yeah. Do they still do cage matches?
They still do cage matches, but they always call them Hell in a Cell matches.
Okay.
And so the cage goes all around.
Okay.
Closes in, but I'm a fan of you remember the big blue bars?
Yeah.
That was my jam. I like that.
It was straight up dangerous.
Yeah, it was.
Because the first cage match, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they never used to have the roof.
That's right. There was no roof on it.
And they used to throw guys right out of the ring, and that thing was like 20 feet high.
It was crazy.
Did you
15 feet. There was Jimmy Snuka used to jump off of that onto people.
Yeah. Crazy.
Did you guys ever watch the now defunct wrestling TNA?
Oh, no, TNA is still going.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Impact Wrestling. I don't know what it's going on, but they're actually doing a crossover with AEW right now.
For a little bit there, they had huge names. Hulk Hogan was a part of it.
That's right.
Nick Foley was a part of it, and it was a bloody
It was
show.
big.
Like, I watched it, and it was like just as bloody as like any of the old wrestling, throwing guys on nails, throwing guys through glass, like cutting people,
All
suicide,
mankind stuff.
They just had a barbed wire
baseball bat.
landmine match or something.
Yeah, they put barbed wire on the bottom of the ring and they throw guys into it. And,
Craziness.
who was on there? He's on WWE now. He wore the mask. The Abyss.
Oh, Abyss.
Yeah, Abyss used to come out with like a baseball bat with barbed wire tied around it and actually hit dudes with it. It was intense.
It was intense.
That's nuts.
I remember that was like when Mankind came into the league. That's when things got
style.
like.
Or Nick Foley. Nick Foley was also very bloody and bruised kind of fighter.
Absolutely.
And that's part of, like you said, the Attitude Era. Because before that, you had like you said, Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake.
That's right.
Like Ric Flair. Like it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't what it was. And then that I don't know, 10-year period.
Yeah.
Man, it got really violent.
Yeah.
And really awesome.
Definitely.
Like
creatively, it was pretty neat.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all that TNA stuff happened after the Attitude Era of WWE had ended.
Right.
That's right.
It's like I never witnessed Attitude Era, but I witnessed like TNA, like guys coming out and beating dudes.
Yeah.
Like, and not even on the pay-per-views, just like on the Friday night free shows.
Yeah.
And TV's changed so much. Like, and that's why it's hard to, like, now I don't watch it anymore because it's not on the channel. It's not the same. You're not tuning in on Monday or Friday or like whenever it's happening, right? Like, I think although the world has become way more accessible, on another plane, like for wrestling, it's a little bit hard. You got to find it.
That's right.
Be looking for it.
Definitely.
But no doubt it's out there if you start YouTube.
It's out there. I've gotten away a little bit from it's not the same without the guys that I loved watching on there.
Yeah.
So I've got to that place where I'm watching AEW right now again.
Right.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
But I'll still catch up with the pay-per-views and WrestleManias and SummerSlams and all that.
SummerSlams. Oh my
God.
God.
My goodness.
So many good memories of like you said, getting the little box from Shaw, getting all your boys together, getting the pizza, and just like setting up the ring afterwards.
It was the best.
Yeah, man.
You'd go in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ended in tears every time.
Oh, always.
Man, Pete, thanks so much for coming today. We blew away the time. I know we did, but that's all right. That's what the show's for. Sometimes you just got to go over the time and break the rules.
That's it. Sometimes you have to.
Thanks
for having me.
No, thanks, man. Thanks for bringing in the belt.
I got to give a shout out too. I got to give a shout out to Ali from Thickwood Barbershop by Black Horse. I just went in there this morning. Those guys are a talented group of individuals.
There we go. Ali and the boys. There we go. All right, Tanner, which camera should I look at right now? There we go. Tanner's moving all the time. Everybody at home, thank you very much for tuning in today. My name's, well, I pointed him. He's Pete. I'm Elliot. This is the Mac City Morning Show. Thanks for spending time with us. And go find some wrestling. Hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.